Do you remember when I did a brown smoky eye with 2 eyeshadows? That was about 10 years ago, and I kind of cringe at the makeup style. Even though that was the style back then, I had a strip lash on that was like from inner corner to outer corner, super, super long, and it was a lot. So I'm doing a 2-shade brown smoky eye, this time with cream shadows. We're bringing it into 2023. It's just softer and fewer steps altogether. All right, my skin is prepped, starting with foundation. I hardly ever wear foundation anymore, but this is one of my favorites by Tom Ford. It's the shade and Illuminate, but I'm gonna customize it a little bit. I don't know if you remember these, the Kryolan Makeup Blend. A couple of drops of this in your foundation is just gonna thin it out and just make it more lightweight on your skin. Even though this is pretty lightweight to begin with, you know me, I just like a very, very super natural finish. Just 2 drops of this, 1 and 2. And then I'm just gonna mix it with my finger on the back of my hand and just start dotting this across my face. And then whatever is left on the back of my hand, I'm just gonna use my beauty blender to pick it up and then start stippling this in. Just the older I get, the less foundation I'm wearing, but I'm picking up so many little tips to make my base look more natural and just let the skin really come through. Because you know, as time goes on, heavier makeup just is not the vibe. You can do more dramatic looks, but as far as the weight of the product, you want it to be as lightweight as possible. So you can see it just evened everything out, but my skin still looks very much like skin. It's very glowy. I'm gonna use the latest from Givenchy. I've been using this for months. Once I find a concealer that I like, I pretty much stick to it. And this one has skincare ingredients in it too. I'm applying very little, and you can see it's not much lighter than my complexion. I'm not really into a super bright under eye area, but we do want to conceal a little bit. And actually the other day I was at an event and I ran into some Smashbox artists who did my makeup, and we were talking about these red handle brushes, and they said that they discontinued them, and I just was so sad because I love these brushes. So Smashbox, if you're watching, bring back the red handle brushes, especially this one, the highlight, precision highlight, which I use for, why is my hand up like that? I use this for blending out my concealer. I have for years, so there didn't need too much concealing. If you need more, go ahead and apply. Now for my contour, I'm using the Persona DreamStick in Sahara. For contour, you always want to start at your hairline by your ear and just swipe down. And I don't really contour my forehead that much because it's not big, but I do have a wider face, so I like to create a narrower illusion. And just a little here. I'm taking this older brush that I have from NARS. I really like the shape. And then with this, I'm just gonna start, you always wanna blend contour upward. I feel a sneeze coming on. Don't ever blend it downward because you really want this area here to stay nice and bright, but definitely diffuse this line so it doesn't look so obvious, but definitely be mindful of blending upward. And I no longer contour directly on my jawline just because that's always obvious. What I do is I lengthen the masseter area right here, and I just go up and down with this, blend that out, make sure it's nice and blended, and then whatever's left, just drag it through the jawline. I'm not directly putting product on there. And if you think you're bad at blending your contour, you can start with something like this, just back and forth circular motions. That's a good place to start, and then you'll get the hang of making it look nice and blended. This side of my face is heavier than this side because I think I sleep on this side. It's like 2 different people when I turn to the side. It's kind of crazy. And then you can always go back to your beauty blender or whatever brush you used for your foundation and just kind of go over the edges of your contour to make sure that it looks as blended as possible. All right, moving on to powder. You know how I feel about powder, but I'm gonna powder down just a little bit with this by Givenchy. I really like this. It's 4 different compartments, 4 slightly different shades. I'm just gonna tap a little bit into the cap. This is an eyeshadow brush. It's super small, and I use this to apply my powder. So I load up the brush, and I just go into very targeted areas under my eye where I crease, into the outer corner, into the nasolabial folds right here, and then just with whatever's left on the brush, I don't go pick up more. I just kind of fan it out to wherever else I want to set. I'm very, very minimal, especially like I said, as the years go by, less and less powder is just gonna produce a better look with your makeup. Now, I'm not actually applying a blush to this look, but I will be adding color to my cheeks. I picked up this palette that I hadn't used in a while. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's their Filmstar Bronze Glow. So this is the bronze and this is the highlight. And I'm taking, you see how fluffy this brush is? Don't use a brush like this for a product like this contour or this bronzer, because you're gonna end up getting a streakier finish, which you don't want. You want it to look nice and blended. So take something like this that's very kind of fluffy and fanned out, and I just kind of load up all angles of the brush. And with this, I'm just going to lightly, I mean, the brush is just barely touching my skin, and I'm just loading up as like this, kind of like a veil over my skin. Do you see how it just lightly adds that bronze, and I can build over if I want more, but if you put too much, it could look dirty. But if you apply this product correctly, it is really just so beautiful. So you see, it does give me a blush, but it's a super neutral shade, and it brought so much warmth and just like a subtle glow to my face. And the last step for my base, people ask me all the time, if you're not using powder or you're not using very much, how do you keep your makeup from moving throughout the day? This setting spray, I use and love a lot of setting sprays, but the Mist and Fix from Makeup Forever is the one if you really want your makeup to stay put. So just gonna spray that on. And once this dries down, everything is just pulled together and it'll stay put. Now onto the eyes. The two products that I'm using for this look are these Caviar sticks by Laura Mercier. These are two different shades of brown. We have a more medium sort of ash brown called Café Noir, and this one is called Cocoa. It's just a richer, deeper, and warmer brown. So we're gonna start with the medium brown first, and I'm gonna apply this directly to my lid from lash line up to crease. So this is a no-brainer. Just get the color down. And then I'm taking this flat brush from Tom Ford. You can use any flat brush you like. And I'm just blending this out. Up past the crease. Just getting as blended as possible. All the way to the inner corner as well. Normally I don't do darker shades in the inner corner, but this is an all smoky brown look. That took hardly any effort at all. So now, other side, starting at the lash line and working up to the crease. Do you see how it's kind of almost like a gray brown? It has a very ash tone. And we're blending and blending and blending. And anytime you're blending deeper shades, once you get to the outer corner of your eye, imagine an invisible line that connects your outer corner to the tail of your brow. Don't allow the darker shades to go any lower than that. Otherwise, you're gonna risk dragging your eye down. You wanna make it appear lifted, so blend toward the tail of your brow. I mean, this alone is just, it's a look. It's a look on its own. I'm gonna take also a smudge brush, if I can find it. I'm gonna take the smudge brush and I'm gonna dip into that same Caviar stick and just add that color to my bottom lash line. This is all gonna be very soft and almost like editorial, like not your usual shadow, liner, layering. It's just like all one color, different dimensions. So that's it for that first shade. Now I'm gonna go into Cocoa. So cocoa is a deeper brown, a deeper, warmer brown. And with this, I'm gonna go right along my lash line, just basically creating one thick line. And then using that same flat brush, all I'm gonna do is blend that upward. We're only using 2 shades, but it's gonna look so much more complicated than that. And cream shadows are just so much easier to blend. So you're gonna have an easier time with this than with powder eyeshadows. And again, make sure you're leading that color up toward the tail of your brow and not dragging it down. You don't really want any kind of wing or anything for this. Like I said, we're going more editorial, just a wash of color across the lids. Again, just one thick line across and then going in and blending. This is what I'm here for, just making everything as easy as possible. You don't have to have 100 products. You don't have to take 17 different steps. And then of course, feel free to use your fingers because that warmth is also gonna kind of melt that product into your skin. But you see how soft that is? It's just, like I said, you would see this on a red carpet. You would see this in a magazine. There's really not much to it. You don't have to add eyeliner for a look to be complete. I considered adding a black eyeliner, but I feel like it would ruin it. It always happens where I'm like, oh, I like how this looks, but I feel like I should. Just because I feel like I should add a black eyeliner, I do, and I always regret it. We're gonna actually move on to mascara now. This mascara from Golden Dream Beauty. Holy cow. I tried it for the first time the other day and I was like, oh wait, what? It's so good. I wasn't sure when I saw the wand at first, but it really makes my lashes stand up super tall, makes them look very long, full, and make sure you're starting at the base of your lashes and twirling the wand upward. That way it's really gonna comb through your lashes and give you the longest possible lashes. And that is really it for the eyes. Do you see how it looks like I could have spent so much time on this, but it was actually so quick? You can, if you like, you can add black to the inner rim of your top lash line or even to your waterline if you just wanna make it appear more complete. But again, I feel like just that undone editorial style, very just effortless look. Although I am gonna put some effort into my eyebrows. I was waxing them last night and I did not realize how different they actually were. And I had a lot to fix. Like this one dipped down so much more than this one. And I plucked a little bit here to kind of make it match. So I am gonna fill a little bit. This is by Dominique Cosmetics. This is their new brow, what's it called? Brow frame? Yeah, brow frame. And with this, I'm just adding a little bit of like little drawing in brow hairs. But that's the nice thing about this eyebrow pencil is you can really easily draw in brow hairs. And I'm gonna finish off with the Dominique Brow Blowout. Makeup or no makeup, I've been using this every single day since the day I got it. I'm almost out. It is the best brow gel. It instantly makes my brows look like they're laminated. And I have very dense brows, so it's hard for brow gels to really do that unless I actually go get them laminated. But in just a couple seconds, it gives me that fluffy, you know, kind of fringy brow look. And they stay put. They stay like this all day. You know that thing they say about brows are not twins, they're sisters? It kind of really bugs me because mine are not. Mine I feel like are cousins. Anyway, let's move on to lips. So for lips, I am gonna keep it glossy. Actually, it's not even a gloss that I'm using. But I'm gonna start with the 2000s lip liner. This was a collab by Orpha and Dose of Colors. So I'm gonna apply this first. Kind of contour my lips. And then smudge it out so that it's not such a stark line. And we launched this earlier this year. This is called Meridium. It's our Day and Night Nourishing Lip Balm. And it's got a tint, and I made it a coffee nude. I did not want a pinky nude. There's so many pinky lip balms out there. The best thing about this is you can do a sheer light layer for just conditioning your lips, or you can layer it on like this, and you have this high shine finish. I don't even use gloss anymore. This is my go-to now for a glossy look. So that is it for this look. 2 shades on the eyes, mascara, bada bing, bada boom. Like I said, makeup doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a 20-step routine for you to get to something that's pretty and polished. I hope you enjoyed this look as much as I did. Leave your comment below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.